Hey, Lizards, Gizmo here. I wanted to share some of the cigars we'll be smoking in May and June, so you can smoke along with us if you'd like. For Cubans, we've got Monte Cristo No. 2, Cai Dorsey's Coronas Claros, San Cristobal de la Habana La Punta, and Por Laranaga Petit Coronas coming up. And for New Worlds, we've got Herrera Esteli Habano and Robusto Grande, Oliva V and Churchill, and Davidoff Millennium and Pyramid, with much, much more to come. Have a suggestion? Email us, loungelizardspod@gmail.com. That's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. And now, let's get into the episode. Welcome to the Lounge Lizards Podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Grinder, Puba, Senator Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some scotch, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 26th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a Cuban cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. Grinder returns and we discuss fatherhood. We go through Trinidad's storied history, and we discuss better ways to travel, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair the Trinidad Coloniales with 18-year aged Glenlivet Single Malt Scotch. A Corona from Trinidad on the pod tonight, our first Trinidad boys, the Coloniales. A beautiful looking stick, as most Trinidads are. 44 ring gauge by 5 1/4 inches. And Bam Bam brought these so kindly for all of us. Really good looking stick. Let's cut this thing, boys. See what we're getting on the cold draw.
Not much on the wrapper, I will tell you.
I was going to say, I feel the opposite. For me,
Really?
on the wrapper, I'm getting a lot of like barnyard and hay.
Oh, yeah.
Does anyone else smell that?
Hay and barnyard. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the cold draw.
That's fair.
The cold draw, though, is super strong.
Let's see that.
Getting some manure. Some mulch.
Oh, the cold draw is delicious.
I'm getting a lot off the cold draw.
Yeah. So this, I will say, is one of my favorite Cuban cigars of all time.
Really?
It is. I know most of you in this room don't pursue this. Whenever it's available, I buy it. I happen to love it. To me, it's the little brother of the Fundadores. Somewhat similar notes, much smaller cigar, not as exclusive, but very cool.
The draw on mine is wide open.
Yeah, mine is
Very well done.
perfect.
Wide open. And you look at the foot and the construction, the wrapper.
That's a testament to the plastic bags that these are stored in.
Yeah. Well, you know, the quality of these are absolutely, construction and build are always good. You can never go wrong there.
All right, boys, let's light this thing. The Trinidad Coloniales. Again,
I'm gonna get shirts made that say, "All right, boys, let's light this thing."
I want a shirt that says, "Let me tell you."
let me tell you. So we have a special guest in the house tonight, boys. Grinder has made his triumphant return to the pod.
Ho.
After
Hey-yo.
becoming a father. Congratulations,
Wow.
Grinder, again.
It's amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Here I
Happy
am.
to have you back.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. It's been quite an adventure. 6 weeks as of yesterday.
We have 6 episodes of notes on Scotch that we're going to need you to recap for us.
Oh, I don't know if I can catch up that fast.
I will tell you right off the bat, I'm getting really good flavor here. Right off the bat. Hints of cedar.
I'm getting like fruity notes.
Yeah.
actually. Like
Dried fruit.
plum,
Yeah.
raisin.
That's what makes this to me, for me, it's a somewhat complex cigar. Because if you have those worlds of sweetness and earthiness, it's something to be said about that.
Really nice on the light. The smoke output is great.
Spice is definitely there.
It's a full flavor on the light. It's
This-
certainly not timid.
The smoke output on mine is ridiculous. Like I am shocked. The amount of smoke that's coming out of this cigar, it's like I'm smoking a 54 ring gauge stick. I'm like really impressed. Super flavorful. This is delicious to start.
So this is coming out of a March 2020 box. So these are a little over 2 years old.
That's right.
A little
Yep.
bit over. So it's really, really nice. I'm curious how the age shows itself as we get toward the end of the cigar here. But
I haven't been able to keep them long enough, honestly.
yeah. going through them. Very, very nice.
Delicious.
So,
Yeah, you get a sorry.
no, go ahead.
No, it hasn't. The smoke has a nice mouth feel to it. Because there's a kind of coats your mouth with flavor, which is cool.
And it has that twang that certainly I look for in a good Cuban. It has that salty thing about it that only a good Cuban has, which is really, really nice.
This is like a minerality that I'm really digging.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
It tastes very Cuban.
So the Coloniales was originally released in 2004. As I mentioned, it comes in a box of 24 cigars in a varnished semi-void nature box. And we can see it over there. Bam has it. It comes in 4 layers of 6 cigars. So unlike other Cuban cigars that are stacked 12 and 3 or 12 and 13 and 12 and 12, these are stacked 4 rows of 6, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, with cedar in between each row.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice presentation.
So Trinidad was established post-revolution in 1969 and was commercially launched in 1997. Most famously, and Bam, you mentioned this cigar, the Fundadoras is the crown jewel of Trinidad. And I think so many cigar smokers chase that cigar like they do Sir Winston's and Lusitanias. I mean, it's a revered.
Yeah, honestly,
cigar.
that for me is a home run. I mean, it's one of the most exclusive cigars I think you can have,
Yeah, and
in my humble opinion.
it really has
Yeah.
made Trinidad a sought after marca
Yeah,
out of Cuba, which is
The
cool.
Fundy.
yeah.
The Fundy.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the story of the name?
So the name is it's named after the 16th century city of La Santísima Trinidad, which means the Holy Trinity.
No, Coloniales.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant Trinidad.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Sorry.
I don't know.
You almost had it though, because you were talking about
I was
a
so
city.
close.
Yeah.
I was so close. So Trinidad is kind of rumored, or it was rumored to be kind of in line with Cohiba as far as Fidel Castro's marca. That
I
he
didn't
enjoyed.
know that.
It's disputed, but I've heard other folks say it.
I have heard that as well.
Fundadoras was cigars that he gave out as diplomatic gifts
Right.
In the 80s. So I've heard
Yeah,
that.
and it was perceived, I think, to be just a step below Cohiba. It didn't get that like third barrel of like fermentation that happens. I've read that. So, but they're made in the same. I think they're all El Guito, or mostly. These are rolled by some of the best rollers on the island. You can tell by the construction. I mean, when you look at these wrappers, it's a premium. The seams are tight and invisible, and you can really tell that a lot of care. It's a premium Cuban cigar.
I like the pigtail at the top as well.
Yeah, that's classic for Trinidad.
it is.
All of their cigars come with the pigtail.
Yep.
You're right about those seams. That's some tight seam there.
Yeah,
I've had the
This is like, where's Waldo trying to find it here?
yeah. It's typical of Trinidad. I mean, and Cohiba as well.
yep. The Esmeralda that they make is also very, very good. And the Vigia, excellent.
And the one that Senator mentioned before we went on air was the Media Luna
Yeah, the Media Luna.
Mm.
And did you mention the Reyes?
and the Reyes.
That's the little guy.
The Reyes is the little one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they have a decent bunch of cigars, and a lot of them are pretty easy to find and common. Some of them are, and obviously the Fundadoras is pretty hard to find. It doesn't come up that much, but I find the line to be very satisfying every time I have one.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
You know, so I'm glad we're doing this tonight.
Rooster gave me this for the first time about 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, just before the pandemic, and I haven't stopped trying to find these ever since.
yeah. I've had the Reyes. I've had the Coloniales. The Reyes is the 40 ring gauge by something. It's
The
smaller.
Reyes is
It's the
40
smallest one
by
they make.
Yeah,
40 by 4 3/8
Right.
inches.
How scarce is the supply of these? Have you?
You know, honestly,
Can you find them?
you can find them. Now, I think all Cubans are going to be hard to find eventually, right? From everything that you've said. But right now, these are pretty available.
yeah. And the price tag is
Like-
a little bit up there, but it's not
yeah,
terrible.
for a box like 420,
For
425.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think worth every dollar, my opinion.
So that puts this stick at $17.50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit pricey.
This
Yeah,
is
for
the
a Corona.
for outside of the Fundadoras. This is I think so far the best because it gives you that. It's like a Corona Gorda. Is that what it is?
I think it's just a Corona because it's a
Corona.
little shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this size of cigar.
It's really nice in the hand.
You know, I do.
You know, it's very reliable. I have yet to, for me, every Coloniales I've had has been
like
very
Coronas.
consistent, flavor profile consistent from cigar to cigar to constructions. Always been very good.
That's one thing I would say about Trinidad generally. I feel like the construction on Trinidad's is always beautiful. I mean, you open up any box really,
Yeah.
they're flawless. Like
Yeah.
that, you know, for all the gripes I have with Cohiba in terms of flavor not appealing to my palate as much, the construction on Cohiba is also fantastic. I feel like those are two brands that really put a premium on making sure that each cigar is consistent and really well constructed.
Exactly right.
Agreed. And I like these. I mean,
I've smoked these for 2 years straight. Never a plugged cigar.
That's great.
Ever.
Wow.
And again, the flavor profile is the same. Dried fruit, a little bit of creaminess, and there's that nice barnyard that you're getting on the finish for me. It's great.
I love the size. I love this size of cigar.
I agree with you.
Corona,
I think it's
Corona
perfect.
Gorda. They're like, you get enough of the wrapper that
I always say it's my favorite. It's my favorite size, Corona.
The Corona.
they really are good.
And I like petite Coronas
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
What other Coronas would you pursue?
Cerveza.
I like the double Corona.
Double Corona?
Yeah, double
No,
Corona.
that's the Liga
That's
Privada
a Liga number
9.
9, which I love too.
Well, the double Corona also is, the Lucy, the Hoyle double. There are great Cuban cigars in that size. To me, other Coronas that are close to this. I mean, I always go to the Magnum 46, which is a Corona Gorda, a little bit bigger, but
Bigger
in
ring
this
gauge.
ring gauge, just a little bit bigger than this. I that's kind of the cigar I go to. Punch is in there too.
Some of these sizes are so indecipherable, like a Corona Gorda versus a Robusto, and then what some brands call Robusto versus not. You look at all the different cigar sizes and ring gauge length variations, and the name and the lexicon across all the different brands is fairly inconsistent. Like there's no standard.
I guess the only consistency is inside Habanos. They're pretty consistent, but certainly when you're comparing it to other New World cigars and whatnot, I definitely agree. I think
Yeah, I guess
there's
you're
kind
right.
of a
Yeah.
flux, but I think when Habanos sets a name for their Vitola, it's pretty consistent across the line, at least that I've seen, thankfully. Because when you have something you like, you can go to like Cuban Cigar website, which we're always referencing, and find other sizes.
It's such a rookie
When
comment
is
of
it-
mine.
when is that? When is that?
Never. Not you, Grinder.
No, never.
It's a rookie moment.
When is that book coming out?
El Habano Moderno. It's scheduled to ship before November, but sometime in the third or fourth quarter of the year.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That'll be great.
So Puba's referencing, we talked about it on, I don't know what episode, probably 4 to 6 episodes ago, the book from the curator of CubanCigarWebsite.com. It's called El Habano Moderno, and it's a double volume book of pretty much every regular production and a limited edition and regional cigar that's come out in the last 20 years. So it's going to be a nice coffee table reference book for enthusiasts. So
Yeah.
check it out, CubanCigarWebsite.com.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll tell you something. This scotch is really, really good.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Really good.
So we got the Glenlivet 18. I haven't had a sip yet.
Neat.
So this is, we usually put a little ice in it. So why didn't we do that?
I'm big on whenever you're having a really high end scotch, like 18-year plus, you have to try it neat because some of these it's smoothed out so much you're not going to get the same bite as you would some of the younger single malts. So I think we should all try it neat.
It's true.
We can also, after we finish, maybe try a little more with some ice. See what we like.
It's really, really good.
Yeah. As you continue to sip it, you're going to pull out a lot of honey notes on this thing. It is insane how tasty this is.
And I credit to you guys. I mean, I think pairing it with this cigar, which has a little bit
Yeah.
of sweetness, a little twang,
Yeah.
it's playing off the Scotch nicely.
Mhm.
Delicious.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So how much is the Glenlivet 18 a bottle?
So I paid $178 and change for that bottle.
Whoa.
Yeah.
with
Okay.
with tax.
Well, with tax.
I
Yes.
think
Wow.
it retails like around 160.
Okay.
But actually, it depends where you get it because I've seen this as cheap, I think, as 130.
Oh, that's a great deal.
So if you really hunt for a deal, you may be able to find it a little closer to
Yeah.
like 130.
Would you consider this a special occasion drink?
I
A
would.
bottle? Yeah.
At
I would.
$178
Yeah.
a bottle. If it isn't, then talk to me about your career path. Or
Well,
It's no.
Let's
It's
talk
no,
like investments or something.
no Macallan 18.
You know?
320. That's
Yeah,
it. Or
that's
is it?
true.
How much is Macallan 18 now?
it's up
somewhere
there.
around there.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
grossly overpriced.
Yeah, it's around
Gross.
$300.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So I was mentioning before, Glenlivet 18 is a really nice swap for some of the other more overpriced, disgustingly overpriced 18s. It's a great bottle to swing in because, it's not ubiquitous, but it's fairly common. And Glenlivet, the brand, has been around forever. And as recent as like the 1950s, I read somewhere, it was like over half of the Scotch bottles in the United States were Glenlivet. It was like the Scotch brand. And it has a tremendous history going back, obviously to the 1800s and in the town of Livet, the Livet Valley in Scotland and Speyside.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see Glenlivet able to produce like a really premium spirit at a more reasonable price than some of their competitors, in the sense that Glenlivet is the second best-selling single malt in the world. Number one is Glenfiddich. Number three is Macallan. And, they're all producing a ton of Scotch. But you look at what Macallan 18 charges, we were just talking about, right? $3 something a bottle. In fact, you can get an 18-year at, half that price. Less than half that price is impressive.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's really good.
Very approachable. Yep.
So how would you guys compare this taste-wise to not to compare, but I'm curious because we're discussing price. How does it compare to like a Macallan 18 and the swing from 12 to 18 in Macallan?
Can I redirect that a little bit?
Sure.
So can we talk first about how this compares to the other age statements within Glenlivet? Because this really fascinated me. And I say that because Glenlivet, they're like 12 and they're 15. One of the things they're known for, they're one of the first distilleries that got super, super floral notes out of Scotch. One of the first to do it. Like if you have, and it's so funny, I remember I was reading about this recently because Glenlivet 12 was like one of the first like entry points for me into single malt when I was much younger. And I remember the first sip I ever took of Glenlivet 12 saying to myself, this tastes like pineapple. And that's the most bizarre thing to say. Now, fast forward years later, as I started to become more of a student of Scotch and I'm looking into this, and that pineapple flavor I described was intentional. They were one of the first to be able to get these floral, like lighter, fruitier notes out of a single malt. So my association with Glenlivet has always been floral, lighter, easygoing. And I remember the first time I had Glenlivet 18, it's very, very different from what else is in their portfolio, and shows, I think, the versatility that they can sort of make it all, where this has more flavor. It's a richer Scotch than their 12 or their 15.
So I've only had the 12, the 15, and the 18. I had the 15 2 weeks ago. And it does have a little bit more, it needs ice right off the bat. It's delicious. It's very reminiscent of this, but it's got more of a bite on the front end. The 12, I buy that when we do cigar gatherings in town and parties and so on. I buy the big Glenlivet 12 magnums and throw them on a table. It's very serviceable. It's it's very good.
Yeah,
You can't turn it down.
I've drank a lot of that in my life.
Me too.
A lot.
Yep.
I mean, I don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't love the
It's an average.
I don't love the Glenlivet 12,
but very serviceable. It's got. Go ahead.
I'll take this another direction. So I don't disagree with anything either of you are saying, but the way I view a Glenlivet 12, I think on a prior episode, we talked about like Dalwhinnie 15. We talked about Glenmorangie 10. These are lighter single malts that I know some lizards describe, well, on a hot summer day when I don't want like the rich, intense flavor of a Macallan or an Oban, maybe I would reach for something like that.
It'll work.
Personally, I think for a hot summer day, like I would definitely take, for my palate, Glenlivet 12 over even Glenmorangie 10 or even Dalwhinnie 15. And I say that because the floral, like fruit notes that come out of that are very summery. Like I could just see sitting on my deck, where the others I feel like are just don't bring as much complexity or intrigue, in what you're drinking.
This is very far on the other side of the spectrum now.
Oh, totally.
This is like
Totally.
rich,
Honey.
very thick,
A lot of honey.
viscosity.
That's what I'm saying.
It's got
That's the
caramel.
versatility.
Yeah.
It's total opposite of
Yeah.
the 12.
Very
Yeah.
different.
It's totally opposite.
Absolutely.
It's a delicious Scotch.
The nose,
Yeah.
on the nose is
Awesome.
that's like I could just smell. I could just get my knocks off just smelling this for a while.
It's great.
I'm serious. It smells great.
It does smell good.
Yeah.
And I also have to say what's impressive, if you've drank Macallan 18 neat and you drink this neat, this is easily smoother than Macallan 18.
Very
Easily.
smooth.
I think
Mac
so.
18 has more flavorful, but this is definitely smoother.
This is like rich sugar, like molasses, toffee, caramel.
Mhm.
Either pick your poison.
And I think, like I said, I think it's pairing very well with the cigar.
Agreed.
There's a little bit of a sweetness in it. It's a nutty, little spicy. Yeah, it's a very complex smoke.
Yeah, you do get a little bit of a spice there, a little pepper, tiny bit, right? With the dried fruit.
Yeah, but even when you said sweetness, this got sweeter for me after I got
Yep.
through like the first fourth or first third,
Yeah.
the cigar.
It definitely came out swinging though from the light. And
Oh,
then
agreed.
Kind of chilled out, and then as it got about a half inch in, it just really started to develop.
I really like this cigar.
It's really nice.
Oh,
I like it a lot.
love it.
I'm glad you said kind of chilled out because, I was having a hard time placing kind of my feelings about the first third of the cigar because there were tons of distinct notes, a lot of flavor, things I liked. For me, though, they weren't marrying very well. Like there wasn't that creaminess, and maybe it's just a product of with more age that would happen right up front. But now as I'm smoking further along, the flavors are starting to come together. It's like a smoother, creamier delivery of them. So I'm enjoying this more as I smoke it.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, the flavor profile is fantastic. I've had to touch it up. Has anyone else had to touch it up a bit?
I did.
I was talking, so I
I've
actually
had to touch it up
I
twice.
needed to kind of relight quick, but it's doing okay for me.
You guys talk too much. Smoke your fucking cigars.
I'll break your hands.
Oh boy.
I have a story about that later.
Uh-oh. Off the record.
Yeah, this is really, really nice. I think honestly, even for its size, I think it's 17, 18 bucks.
Yeah.
I think it's still a perfect price for the
It's a
cigar
premium
in
cigar.
what it's giving you.
I buy these whenever I find them. I'd pay $20 a cigar for these.
I'm really
No
enjoying
problem.
the retro hail. Like the
Yeah.
retro hail is so smooth.
It really is. Very, very
Sometimes
delicious.
when you have a retro hail, it really just kind of knocks your socks off. This is just, it's perfect. Really smooth. You get a lot of flavor. It's not
Yeah.
overpowering.
That's right.
By the way, sorry, back to the Scotch just really quickly. I just realized when you're on vacation and you're going through an airport and there's duty free, one of the easiest higher age statement scotches that you're usually able to find is Glenlivet 18. And I'm
exactly
remembering
right.
this because I bought 2 bottles of this. I think I got them for $100 a piece, which is an absolute
Wow.
steal.
That's a steal.
So look for it. And I say that because we drink a lot of Macallan. I can never find Macallan duty free. It's so frustrating. But Glenlivet 18, you usually can pick up.
Yeah.
I
That's a
love,
great
I
deal.
love like nabbing those deals.
Oh, yeah.
But I hate walking through those areas, like because they force you to walk through them. Like some of the larger international airports, and it's just all the various perfumes and colognes mixed together, and it's like pumping through that space, and they're directing you all over the fucking place. It's the worst.
It smells like the fragrance section of Nordstrom
It's like purgatory.
or Macy's. Worse, Macy's.
Well, the worst, the best and the worst part is also when you're there. There, a lot of times they'll do tastings, and sometimes they'll actually open some really nice bottles. Like I've been shocked. I think it was in Heathrow. Guy was pouring me like a 30-year Scotch. I like couldn't even believe.
Wow.
But
Only
the timing
set-
of your flight is what really makes it. Like I'll have like a 9 a.m. flight, and I'm looking at the guy. He's like, "Oh, why don't you try this?" And I'm sitting there looking at my watch. It's 9 in the morning. Do I really need Scotch this early? But of course, every time it gets me
It's
every
just
time.
not fair.
They
It's not
flag-
fair.
But they flag him as soon as he goes
Yeah,
through TSA.
he's
They're like,
the target.
Senator's here.
I've never gotten a
Senators
tasting
here,
in an
get 'em.
airport.
Open the 30 year. He's here.
I don't know. I was when I was flying internationally a lot. I stuck to the policy of if it's a different time zone and I'm traveling, I don't give a fuck what time it is.
You're drinking.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. When in Rome.
When in Rome,
When in Rome.
especially if you have like a 9-hour flight or anything transcon,
Yeah.
you just want to have a drink, maybe something to just put you over the edge to have that deep sleep and knock you out, and it's great.
Yeah. I did I tell you guys I signed up for Clear?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I've seen it in the airport, but every time I've seen
It's
it
cool.
at Newark, it never is working. They're always frustrated. The machines are broken. Anytime I've seen it, like everybody that has Clear is. Anytime I've seen it, they're frustrated with it.
What is
I've wanted to sign up and they couldn't. They
What's-
couldn't do
Oh
it.
no, that wasn't my experience, but that may have been a while ago because I only
What's-
just recently signed up.
Nice.
Can
Also,
some-
let's just say the obvious. I mean, Newark is pretty much an outlier of most airports.
That's
and that
fair.
Nothing
That's
is working
very
in
fair.
Newark Airport.
That's
very fair.
They can't half the time.
So-
the fucking pre-check line doesn't work in.
Pre-check.
they
Well,
Well, when
close
you
it.
do pre-check and Clear in combination, it's a home
So
run.
what is
guys.
different
It's
about
a
it?
home run?
What's
guys.
different about Clear?
Well, what's different about it is they do biometrics. So they take your fingerprints and they scan your retina. And then once that information is all lined up, they have a line for Clear and pre-check. And all you do, you don't have to show your boarding pass, like everything's connected. You just go chunk like that, and it's like, boom, you're in.
So think about
So-
pre-check allows you. Senator wants to jump in as well.
That's
He travels a
amazing.
lot.
No, I was just going to ask. So, where did the government implant the microchip?
the
Yeah,
microfiche.
In the
Oh,
island.
I remember. So as I was matriculating through this registration process,
Matriculating?
with my brother,
Did you get an A? Did you get an A or a B?
I'm doing this, and I looked at my brother and I said, "No criminals are signing up for Clear. Like nobody. I mean, it's just not happening. I mean, they got your eyes, they got your fingerprints. I mean, nobody's doing that.
Well, the benefit of Clear is because, to your point, you gotta double down. The pre-check only gets you so far because what it does is it just lets you get through the scanners a little faster. You don't have to take all the shit off,
Right.
But the Clear,
And you,
like
have,
if
a and you have a separate line.
and you have a separate line, but you still have to go to the TSA guy, show your passport or your ID.
Right.
He looks at you and he verifies that. Clear automates that.
Got it.
Totally automates it. And when your pre-check Clear line, it's like the line is huge. There could be a line for pre-check.
I
Pre-check
know.
and Clear, it's like it's boom, you're right through.
The pre-check line at Newark is notorious for there's a lot of people that have pre-check that fly in and out of Newark Airport.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's almost to the point that pretty much the majority of people who are going through that security line have pre-check. And oftentimes when I fly United, I can go to the Premier Access line, not go to pre-check and get through faster by going through the normal Premier Access as opposed to pre-check because that line
Right.
is so ridiculous.
Well, so my brother is global
Global entry.
Global entry.
global United on United, global
Oh.
freaking the top thing you
Yeah.
can get.
Global services.
Global services.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
That's-
between Clear,
That's red
global
carpet.
services, and everything else, because you could bring somebody with you with global service. You bring your whole family.
Oh, nice.
So Tim's like, watch this. So we hung out in the lounge for so long, like drinking Bloody Marys. And he's like, dude, watch this. Everyone's going to hate us. So we walk up to the gate, right? They'd already started boarding the plane. He's like, just follow me. We walk right up and he's like, what is it called? Global Premier Access?
Global services.
He goes, global services. They're like, right this way. And they goes boom. He cuts right in front of everybody. Boom, like this. I go, boom, scan me. I go right in. It was amazing. He's like everyone hates
Yeah,
us.
I mean it's
Everyone hates us.
it's premier dick game by doing that. Like
Yeah,
you're,
it is.
you're
Yeah.
just whipping it out.
Oh, yeah.
Just whipping it. What are you gonna do?
Because that's not about mileage flown. It's about dollars spent.
Ah.
You're getting global services when you're paying a lot of money to fly. I've had clients who've gotten global services just by taking one trip a month. For us, business travelers, 1 trip a month is, nothing.
Yeah.
But if you take 1 trip a month and it's a transcon on a, lie flat seat and you're paying full ticket
You're
price.
paying first class for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do that often enough, that's you're a revenue generator, right? For the company. They're going to take care of you.
Yeah, you have guests. You bring your whole family into the lounge.
That's fantastic.
It's
That's amazing.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Sounds like I got to get Clear.
Yeah.
Clear is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, your timing with Clear was great because when they first started, I mean, they were at so few airports that to me it just made absolutely no sense. Like you get to use it maybe a few times a year, but now they've really expanded. I mean, they're everywhere.
Well, and it's free if you have a Amex Platinum or if you have any of the Premium Sapphire, any of those cards,
Or
whatever the fancy card that Senator has, his city
status. Any status
crazy
you get it too.
Huh?
Pretty much any airline status. If you have like United Platinum even gets it.
Oh, they'll credit you somehow?
Yeah,
I think they give you the money back.
You
I
get the
think
money
my
back?
Amex may have it. I think I have a Platinum, so I'm sure it does. I just
It
haven't done
does. It does have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's our travel
Love it.
travel update from the Lizards.
Well, I mean, what's in the intro?
I'm not. I do say that.
What?
I don't even know what I say. Food, whiskey, travel.
There you go.
travel.
Hey, oh!
I mean, you're acting as if the topic's divergent from the platform.
From the
This
platform.
is not, you're like, and that's our travel update. Well,
For
I
Christ's
thought we
sakes,
talked
Gizmo,
about travel.
For Christ's sakes, we're just trying to matriculate through all the topics.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
I'm getting a D.
I'm about halfway through this guy.
It's so good.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's really good. It's a
Yeah.
complex little smoke, man.
Yeah.
So here's my question for you. You said this. You smoke this a lot. Where do you slot it in usually? Like, is it first cigar of the day? Second? Does it matter? Like,
It's
where do you
earlier
like
in
it?
the rotation. So if I'm sitting with you guys, we're going to have 4 or 5 cigars. It's one of the first or second that I'll have. No doubt about it.
I would agree with that. I've had
Yeah.
this before. I've had several of these. For me, it's always like mid to late afternoon or early evenings.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned the punch.
Yeah.
For me, that's a great 1-2. Because they kind of go hand in hand for me. It's a fabulous start to a night.
It's a great 1-2 punch.
Yeah. For me.
I'm so happy to be back, guys.
You were missed.
My zingers
You
are
were
here
there.
again. Snark.
Yeah, Pooh, I want to hear what you got to say.
I just think this is a very, very good, pleasurable cigar.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had to touch it up just a little bit only because it's probably humidity issue. The wrapper, they could just maybe dry out just a little bit.
You know what would help that, Bam, is a tower.
Yeah. You.
Can I get a?
you.
So it's
How
been
you're
it's been a
storing
while. Can I get a tower update?
No
Yeah,
up-
Grinder hasn't been here. What's
no
going on?
updates.
What do you mean? No,
They
update?
can't tell me when it's coming.
Who's
they just
they?
can't.
Grinder had a child
Well, the
faster than
supplier.
you got a
The
fucking
supplier?
tower,
Yes,
Bab.
that's true.
It's insane.
I could
I
have
had
built.
I
Is
had
this
a,
the
I had a,
elegant
I had a
bar?
child.
Yeah.
And
Elegant
Yeah.
bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't give me a date.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
are they responding at least?
Yeah, they're saying we apologize. We cannot give you a delivery date.
Tell them you need to just induce on a certain date. And they need to
Yeah.
make it happen. This is getting ridiculous.
Apparently, there's a ship offshore, and there's several boats with containers that are waiting to get in. I don't know.
Which wood did you get, a Remington or did you get the Tower of Power?
Tower of Power, 2.
Was it
Two-
on
you
that?
got 2 Tower of Power.
Well, 1 for me and a buddy, but
Oh,
there's the Tower of Power and a Tower of Power of 2.
Two.
2 is the one you want.
That's the one I have. Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want the drawers. You just want the shelves.
Maybe it was on the
Oh.
boat with the Porsches and the Volkswagen.
Yeah, the one that burned.
Sunk.
Oh, that's not good. And here's the thing: they say we're happy to give you a refund.
Oh yeah.
I just want to slam the phone.
Get a refund and go fucking buy one down the street.
I would love to do that, but where?
Just build them with your hands, Bab.
I could have had my mill workers
do have
make
a-
one.
You could have.
I could have.
You very well
and
could
I
have.
probably should have.
Yep. Yep.
You
The problem is you
do
can't
build
source
things, right?
I do, but you can't source Spanish cedar. You can't get it.
Ah,
Can't find that.
yeah, it's a unique commodity.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's hard to get.
It's so good, that smell.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'll tell you, when I open my tower door, man, not to rub it in.
Don't
when
talk about it,
When I
please.
open my tower door, the
Yeah.
smell that comes out with the cigars and the cedar. Oh, it's heavenly every time.
Wafting
every
of
single
that
time.
beautiful twang coming at you,
Yep.
like a dancer.
Like a dancer.
coming right at you. Those exotic moments.
Oh man. So Grinder.
Yeah.
So you had a baby.
My wife had a baby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about your baby is what coming up on 6
weeks yesterday.
Cool.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been quite an adventure. We had quite a, it was hard and fast birth scenario where we, scheduled an induction. That didn't work out. Emergency C-section because the baby was in distress, and then she was great. And then we had to take her to the hospital 2 weeks later for high fever, which is a whole other story. But honestly, it's been beautiful. Everything's been fantastic. Life has kind of sucked a lot.
Yeah.
Because of
What?
Life has kind of sucked.
Wow.
Because just mending to the baby all the time, and we had a late night last night where I was telling Gizmo I wanted to surprise the guys, and then last minute I was like, we were up till 4 a.m. last night, and it really sucked. And I don't know if I can leave my wife with the dog and the baby by herself for that long a period of time. Fortunately, my in-laws are watching the little lady tonight.
Fantastic.
So props to them. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Awesome.
As
That's
always.
awesome.
But yeah, it's been a fantastic experience. You don't really prepare yourself well enough, I think, as a guy, for how hard it can be.
Yeah.
And you're not even doing much.
No.
I'm not doing the feeding stuff, or even like during the workday. I hardly see her. And it's just there's so much work. So much work.
Feeding, changing.
Yeah, but so we're waiting for. I personally am kind of waiting for her to turn on, because she's like still just they call it the fourth trimester right now, because she's still just a blob
She's there.
of nerve endings,
Yep,
just
yep.
doing stuff, But it's awesome.
Awesome, man.
That's
Good for
great.
you.
Thanks.
And we're happy to have you back.
We're very happy.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so happy to be back.
Oh, yeah.
You have no idea.
The anxiety we've had when describing.
Oh, yeah.
We're so happy to have you back with us.
Good choice, Booba.
Just open up that humidor. It's like a dancer.
Baby.
Smell the aroma.
The botanicals coming at you.
Only Bam Bam could compare opening a humidor
I don't know
to an exotic dancer.
I don't know how I should feel that we segued from exotic dancer to my child,
Yeah.
and vice versa.
It was bookended by that.
Hey, if you don't,
Not my doing, by the way.
if you don't keep up with the parenting, you never know.
Jesus. Well, they say spare the rod, risk the pole.
Oh my God. Well, Grinder, thank you for the wonderful parenting update.
Yes.
I wish I could tell you more like fun stuff, but
Yeah,
there's not much fun stuff.
it's coming.
But
yeah.
No, but it's really great. Happy about it.
The thing. I saw something on Instagram a couple months ago, and it was a bunch of moms talking about the anxiety and stress that the dad goes through preparing for the baby, and as the baby's coming and after the baby. It's like you're in control of nothing.
Zero.
And it's
No.
you're a ball of anxiety and energy and fear and
All you
You know.
can do is support your wife.
Yep.
And be there.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
bedside the entire time.
Yeah.
That's it.
there's a lot of lizards out there that are parents or maybe will be parents
Maybe.
and are thinking about becoming parents. And
Yeah. Some in this
You know,
room.
you know what's interesting to me though? Like Instagram, you mentioned Instagram. I have to just, say this. They know. It's like we had the baby and Instagram knows. So my whole like Instagram, TikTok situation now is just baby shit.
You getting ads for formula getting thrown at you?
No. Just like they must know that we have battles with her at night, because there's always like, this is how you soothe the baby. And this is how you
Wow.
burp the baby.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's just your Amazon tracker of stuff you're searching or buying or
Maybe
looking
it's
at on
listening.
the internet.
Yeah.
Or
the
it's
micro-
listening. Yeah, who knows?
You're
Following you around the internet.
You're all up in the algo.
Yeah. The algo.
And
Matriculating
then
in
the
the
next thing
algo.
you know, you can.
They're going to grow back.
This is what you have to look forward
the
to.
orthodontist, they're going to fix the braces, and your teeth are going to grow back in. You gotta eat like a homeless person right now.
See, that's what you have to look forward to.
Yeah, I think.
You know, so just wait about a decade and you can deal with that.
Yeah, Puba, those are terrifying moments.
Those videos he sends,
and
man.
he's trying to really provoke the two of you guys. I mean,
I gotta say though, when Puba said
recording.
that video, all you see is he's got the Wall Street Journal open, he's reading the paper, and there's absolute chaos going on in his house, and he's just so calm and patient there. You were a complete saint. It was impressive.
Absolutely, veteran dad right there.
I love the line. You
Veteran
just
dad.
have to eat like a homeless person.
The poor girl's got 15 out of 30 of her teeth.
Oh, gosh.
Because the baby teeth fall out. She's got braces on the top. They fall out with a piece of the brace on. They're pulling in the front teeth. You know, it's
tough.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Pimples, everything.
I showed that to my wife, Puba, and she's like, wow, he's so good. He's like, you need to take some lessons from him. And I'm like,
Oh.
Before you know it, you'll be drinking in the shower.
You'll be carrying around a thermos.
this is a Magnum thermos.
Full of spirits.
By the way, the thermos is here tonight, folks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
That can't actually be the thermos.
Oh,
This
that's
is
the
thermos.
thermos.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's
Is
the
it
thermos.
In all its glory.
That's the thermos.
Wow. That's a lot of.
Well, it's not full. I mean,
It was full, but it's not anymore.
I've drank it all. God damn it!
The
I've
handle.
been drinking it all day.
Even the handle is substantial.
Yeah, it's you know, it's for like construction workers who drink coffee
Or scotch.
or scotch
Or Kirkland.
or coffee and scotch on the job.
Is that a good combo? Coffee and scotch?
I don't think
I've
so.
never had it.
No, but bourbon in a coffee is
That would work.
good. And Jameson and an Irish coffee. Irish coffee is real good.
Yes, it is.
I've never had an Irish coffee, actually.
Well,
I'm learning something about you.
oh, here we go.
That
Ruh-roh.
that there's a lot of things that you just discovered Don Julio. How old are you?
Don Julio has changed my life.
I understand, but how old are you?
35.
Yeah, that's a long that's a long ramp up.
It's true, but I'm glad I didn't find it in my 20s. I'm glad I found it now. I'm good.
Yeah, well, I am too.
Yeah.
That you know.
And
I
thanks
am-
to you guys,
I am
I'm
as well.
I'm
But
refining
there's
my
like,
palate.
well, you've never had an Irish coffee, Irish? You like coffee. You love
love
coffee. See, Irish coffee's wonderful.
Hmm.
At our North Lounge, you should get an Irish coffee
Oh,
there.
I was-
They make a great one.
I was about to say, I've had 2 Irish coffees up there.
Oh,
Delicious.
mhm.
Delicious.
You gotta like do it with the foam with the spoon so it doesn't like sink in.
Yeah.
The-
It
yeah.
comes with a nice top of foam. It's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, what do we think about this cigar, boys?
I
See,
love it.
I'm taking Gizmo's line.
You're welcome to.
I want to hear Pagoda. Pagoda, how are you feeling about this cigar?
Really enjoying it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you catching a ramp up? So you and I are about the same, like into the last third.
Go ahead. Touch sticks,
Toast.
you
We'll
two.
toast it. There we go.
So
Cheers.
Have you seen this? I've started smoking slow. No, this is very, very nice. Milder for,
Yeah, for
based
your
on my
palate.
Yeah. But I think when I started off, I've recently started enjoying the Ras, as most of you guys know by now. I'm new to Cubans and definitely got a similar kind of flavor profile, at least for me, in the beginning. And it's developing to something really nice. Yeah.
How does
Pagoda,
this?
you can't say you're new to Cubans anymore.
No, I'm
You-
still
you-
relatively new.
You are an aged veteran at this point. The amount of Cubans you smoke relative to the rest of the Gen Pop, as
That's
it were.
true. That's true.
Yeah, in terms of the numbers, sure. But in terms of the days, I'm relatively young.
How does this compare? We did the Cohiba Siglo 2 a couple weeks ago. You were saying how much you were surprised to have enjoyed that for the type of smoke that it is for the palate that you have.
Correct.
Not that I'm comparing this to the
Yeah.
Siglo 2. It's very different, but how is this hitting you?
This
Relatively.
I think in that, if I remember clearly, firstly, I have no memory, but I think that cigar developed into something a little more stronger, I think, in the second half, if I remember clearly. I'm not sure. But this has remained relatively consistent throughout. So I haven't found it really becoming, like a reasonable change in profile. Let's put it this way.
Got it.
It's relatively the same, but it's becoming a little more flavorful. And yeah,
For me, in the second half here, I think it's ramped up a little bit for me, for sure. I'm getting a little bit of tingle around my lips. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys are. I'm
Yeah, it's
getting a little
happening.
bit.
I've been getting that all the way through. I'm sort of with Pagoda in that I think this is more consistent all the way through. Where I do agree that the Siglo 2, I feel like started very mild. I was actually worried it was going to be too mild, and then by the end, I was like, wow, it really picked up. So I think they're very different. In that way.
Yeah.
I think we said that we would consider that a 2-act cigar, the
Yeah.
Cigar, for sure. I found that cigar to be a bit more flavorful from the point of view of the floral and some of the dried fruit notes than we're getting in this.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is it does have a little bit of that pepper and earthiness in addition to those two.
This seems more mellow. This is actually more mellow and creamy. It's a creamier smoke
Velvety smoke.
for me than the Siglo. If we were gonna rack and stack them.
And the reason why I asked that is, to me, from a slotting standpoint, it's very similar in where I would put it in my day. I wouldn't smoke this and a Siglo 2. I wouldn't smoke this and a Schwa Supreme. It would be one of the three. I think they all kind of fill that spot depending on what I'm looking for. So that's why I'm kind of curious where you guys are.
I think there's merit to have this in your rotation.
Yeah.
The tingling sensation is spot on. I mean,
Yeah, you feel like a little bit in
weird.
your lips, right?
kinda weird.
It's a little
Yeah,
different.
even on the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
And I've been getting that all the way through.
Yeah, I'm getting it more now, but it's not bad.
And honestly, the room
no,
is,
it's very good.
Yeah, it's cool.
Quite nice.
and it's a testament to the room is a little cloudy.
It is.
The combustion on this is pretty
Oh.
for a little cigar.
it's excellent.
The
Quite-
combustion on this
Yeah,
is fantastic. I'm
absurd.
like shocked this little stick how much smoke output all the way through.
Absolutely.
I connected with this cigar. I like this cigar. I think the smoke is creamy and delicious. It's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit fruity. There's a little bit of pepper. It's kind of a complex smoke. Now, is it a straightforward affair in terms of, to Pagoda's point, has it kind of not switched up a lot? But I don't really want it to.
Yeah.
But what I really like about this is that overall the flavor in my palate is very, very nice. It's kind of very mild,
Yeah.
but it's relatively consistent and it's there, but it's not overpowering or, rough or, sometimes you get very cigar-y or nothing like that. I think, but that's true of most Cubans, I think.
Yeah. There's a tastiness to this thing, right?
Yeah.
It's very tasty.
Yeah.
And it's a complex smoke. There's a lot going on here, flavor-wise. And there's a woodiness to it that I don't want to say is cedar, but there is a little bit of like a woody, nutty thing going on.
I'm getting the exact same thing, and it's on the finish.
It is.
It
it's
is.
all on the
Yeah,
finish.
It's all on the
yes.
finish.
Yes.
Completely agree.
Correct. Actually, you've described that because I was trying to pinpoint what that was feeling like, but that's exactly what it is.
In a very good way.
Excellent. Yeah.
In a very good way. It's a really nice cigar.
And to go to your point, Senator, on what you said about the Scotch on the Glenlivet 18, as I've sipped it more, it's just, I don't know if it's just from sitting in the glass, it's opened up. I don't know what's going on, but the more I sip it, even more I'm enjoying it, which it's really satisfying.
Right, right.
And obviously for that price point, you'd hope it does, but
It better be.
yeah, it better be good for that price. But it's really, really nice.
Yeah.
this is like a grill room cigar, like a country club grill room cigar. Just like
I like that.
playing poker in the grill room, just like billows of smoke.
Bikinis walking
Very-
by.
Okay.
No, not in the men's grill.
Where does that come from?
You're more likely to see somebody with their dick out than
Garcon?
Or someone in green khakis.
Let the
Hey,
listener
hey,
know.
hey,
Let-
don't knock the green khakis.
Hey, I was aware.
Speaking
I
of
was
speaking
aware.
of
Thank you very much.
speaking of boat shoes and khakis,
Yes.
Puba, did you hear the other day Senator said that he was doing some gardening? Did you hear about this?
Yeah,
What?
I mean,
Little-
look, he's
Cheers. Thank you.
he lives a lifestyle that's you know,
It's sophisticated.
well, yeah. I mean, he does these types of activities.
He's a bit of a dandy.
Planting spring
Well,
flowers.
Isn't that
He's
called
domestic.
There's
for sure.
a
He's got shears out. He's clipping.
there's a term for that.
you know, planting,
There's a term.
gloves, gardening.
It's called husbandry, right?
And don't apologize. Don't do the I'm sorry thing. You can't.
Here's my question. Do you-
You're planting spring
Hold on.
flowers. and-
Garcon is back at the house.
You like how I brought that up? You like how I brought that up while he was serving us?
and I'm just envisioning him like on his knees with a spade.
On his knees.
With
the boat shoes.
with the little thing. And
boat
honey, do you have more pot soil?
I was about to say that.
Pass the pot soil. I need some more of that.
We lost all the perennials.
If we put Miracle Grow right here, right now, I think this thing's gonna just bloom like you wouldn't
fucking
believe. It's gonna
deer.
be
So you
so
have,
pretty.
fuck the deer. We can do an entire podcast on the deer that will culminate in Rooster like choking a deer out in my yard. We know that, but look, you have to understand the context. I do not claim
He is
to
apologizing.
I do not claim to be handy. I do not claim to do gardening, any of that shit. I do nothing. I have landscapers. They do everything. So the singular thing that I do to prove my value around this house is to make the house look nice, I plant flowers that my wife wants and a few planters, and I've done my job for the
Well
year.
done.
Correct. And that half hour later, you in the lounge. I remember
That's
that.
exactly
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
You
you
paid
get
your dues.
you get domestic points, and you do what you want.
So
Love
why?
it.
But why not just hit the nursery and throw some planters in the back of your deal, and just drop them? You can just use my truck. You could just throw them in the back. Take my truck, throw them in the back, and then we unload those things before the podcast.
what he
Put
did.
them out, and you're done.
Well,
you don't have to plant
there's
shit.
there's a specific planter we have like on the front porch, so I don't want to bring that, but I will
I
admit
see.
Listen, the visual
The
of you-
visual is
yeah,
great.
the visual for us is just
with
fantastic.
with the gardening gloves, the shears, one of those little spade thing,
with a D4 in my mouth as like women and children are walking down the sidewalk down my street, like scowling at me, like what is this guy doing?
Oh god, that cracks me up.
So let the listener take note. We're on our second glass of the Glenlivet 18.
Garcon is serving us ice now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love when Senator serves us. Isn't it great?
He's a great
Oh,
host.
it's a
think-
big
I
time
think-
role reversal for
I
him.
think so.
No, he
This
really
is-
only does this for the pod.
That's
Oh,
the,
yeah.
That's
Other
the
than
genesis.
that, the senator sits back and expects people to serve him.
Oh, no doubt. He's on his Zoom calls. He says one word, and an entire workforce
Yeah,
moves.
He's using a lot. He does.
It's
he
true.
doesn't even use words. He just goes.
It's his eyes and his.
Yeah, three
Yeah.
words. 3 words. He's got a workforce of 180 people in
Excuse
the
me.
office, moving.
They say that's the genesis
Excuse
of,
me?
Of BDSM, though.
I'm sorry, pardon
Very
me?
authoritative men who command
Ooh.
very frequently just want to be told what to do by the dominatrix every so
Oh,
often.
What are you
Boy.
saying? He's Chuck Rhodes?
Look, I love Chuck Rhodes on Billions, but I will never understand that shit ever.
Oh man.
It's like a nightmare.
So here's a question for you, boys. Are you guys ready to do the formal liquor rating on
yeah.
the Glenlivet 18? Because I am ready.
Now,
Shall
what-
we pause and change into tuxes?
We might have to.
Formal.
But what's interesting now is we each have a chip of ice in our scotch in our second glasses.
It's become informal now, so I don't know if we can do the formal because we got ice in it.
It's super delicious, Scott.
It's so good.
Very good.
It's so good.
What's the roundabout? I'm in
Wow.
the one seat though.
Yeah, you're in Rooster seat tonight.
So
But
I
we
go
start.
first?
We start with you. You start on the
Well,
on the
cigar.
cigar.
if you're in
Okay.
Rooster seat, you just have to say one word. Cedar. Another word would be sweetness. Did I get some sweetness?
Just the adjective.
Uh-oh.
Hey, he's not here.
I know he gets roasted. All right, Bam. What do you give the Glenlivet 18?
It's a 9.
Pagoda?
9.
Same here, 9.
I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yeah.
What?
It's worthy. It's worthy. It's a worthy score.
I really
I love that.
Yeah.
I really this could be from a premium priced, really aged Scotch. This is really up there for me.
Can I just interrupt? Have you had it with the chip of ice yet?
Yes, I have.
It's
It's very nice.
It's incredible.
I really liked it neat though. That
Wow.
was a big selling point for
Wow.
me.
Yeah.
Pooba?
I found it to be balanced. I'll give it a 9.
I I would give it a 9 without, without ice. I think ice added to it, to be honest. I prefer it with ice. It opened up a lot for me.
It did.
It's smooth. It got a little sweeter, honestly.
Yeah. No, you're right. I got the same thing. Yeah.
9, then 10 with the ice.
Wow.
IMO.
So what's the
I've never
number?
given
So
a
what's
whiskey a
what's
10.
the overall score you're going to give
10.
it?
10.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
know-
I can have it only once every 18 years. But
It's not as sherry forward as like an Aberlour.
No, it's not.
It's
no
got
sherry.
it's right. It's very it's a very balanced
It's oak and small oak,
And
but mostly molasses.
caramel
Toffee,
and honey.
caramel.
It's very good.
Yeah, I really, really like it. So the Composite Lizard score on the Glenlivet 18 is a 9.3,
Wow.
which I think is
Great
a very, very appropriate score
Wow.
for this.
Wow.
And I think it really lives up to, because we
Wow.
are critical when something is priced too high, and
Mhm.
we will tell you, but it's very appropriate.
I
an
just
app-
want to say I'm really, really happy to see this score. And I say this because Bam has had this several times before.
Yeah.
I've drank a lot of this stuff. And one of the things that I think is such a shame, Glenlivet does not get the same respect that some brands do. And the
Right.
reason for that is because it's one of the most produced scotches in the entire world. And so I think because it's so readily available and because their 12-year is so, is served just about anywhere, and that's an average scotch, it's by no means anything great, people assume that their higher end scotch is not as good. And I've always loved this bottle. I've gifted it to people. I enjoy it at home. I'm so glad to see every single
Absolutely.
lizard give this a 9 or 10.
Yep. All good points. Yep.
Yeah, Glenlivet's the brand is ubiquitous, but that doesn't mean this is a very, very
It's
good
special.
scotch.
Special bottle.
they're definitely delicious,
Yeah.
tasty.
It's
Yeah.
Total
And
treat.
you know what I find about it too, and we haven't talked about this. I find it, if I were to have this at a Christmas or a holiday or something like that, I feel like any Scotch drinker that appreciates a nice Scotch really would enjoy this. I feel like this is not something that's going to alienate anyone. I think anybody who appreciates good Scotch can have this and enjoy it.
I agree 100%, Giz. And the thing is, when you think about it, right, like where is this from? This is a Speyside Scotch. The Scotches that we all love more than anything
Are all space.
are all Speyside.
Yeah.
Macallan,
Yep.
Balvenie, even Aberlour is a Speyside.
Yep.
Glenlivet, we love the flavor profile that comes out of that region.
I wonder if some of the tingle tangle is from the Scotch. Honestly,
It very well could
Yeah.
be.
I don't.
I
For
feel
me,
like
it
I'm
wa-
getting it from the cigar, but
For me, it was not, because I waited to try the Scotch and I was puffing away at the
Yeah.
cigar and I got that tingle at the tip of my tongue, like right on the first third when I was smoking through it before I tasted any Scotch.
I really think that the pairing that we have tonight, and we're going to do the rating on the cigar, but I think that the Coloniales with this Scotch is an A+ pairing.
Yeah. It's a it's a really delicious experience to
Yeah.
have both together. Yeah.
Yeah, a nice complex smoke, a really, really high end, delicious Scotch. I think it's an A+. I think it's an A+. So we're coming to the last third here on the cigar, boys. What's everybody thinking?
Down to the nub, the flavor is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it got a bit peppery for me as well.
Yeah. A little peppery. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe, again, going back to the smoke output, all the way down here, I can't believe how much smoke I'm putting out. And I'm really not pulling a lot of draw.
Yeah.
It's just,
And
it's overwhelming in
And
a
it
way.
creates a beautiful velvety smoke as well.
yeah, really nice in the mouth.
Yeah.
Pooba, what do you think of your last third?
A great mouthfeel, the smoke output, the build, the construction, the combustion, the taste. For me was very, very good. Very pleasurable cigar for me. Very, very nice. Very nice.
You know, this is all high praise for a cigar that's pretty readily available.
Yeah,
And I think it says a lot about the maker, right, and its availability. And to the listener listening, there's really a lot for the listener to take in for this particular cigar and go after it. Potentially.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
agree, and I would caveat that by saying, just having had the larger ring gauges, like the Vigia,
The Vigia is fantastic.
I
I
a
think.
lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
But I think the better expression of Trinidad is in these smaller ring gauge vitolas.
100%
Personally.
agree. Totally agree with you.
I've had the Vigia. I have a box of Vigias in my humidor. I've smoked them. Are they good? They are. But I think Trinidad really excels in the smaller ring gauge, and I think that this hits the mark in terms of the ratio, like what really is more exemplifies what Trinidad is about for me.
And the culmination of that is the Fundadores, really.
Sure.
Yeah, and which what Pooh was saying and what you are, Bam. I mean, that's a testament to the wrapper on those smaller ringgit. That's where we're getting most of that flavor from, and it's delicious on all these Trinidads.
Yeah.
I just want to go back quickly to something Bam said. You mentioned, it's amazing that we're all gushing about this standard production cigar that is not all that difficult to find. And Pooh and I were having a conversation about this the other night at our clubhouse, which you made me think of in that, and I'm curious for everyone's perspective, but I think a number of the lizards, and I'll just speak for myself, and I know Pooh agrees because we were both expressing this just the other night. Some of the best Cubans are standard production Cubans. You don't have to go out and buy a crazy expensive, hard to find regional or even a limitada to have an outstanding experience with a Cuban cigar. And I think a lot of the stuff we review, whether it's a Partagas D4 or
the Ras,
or Bellicosos Finos or whatever the case may be, these are all standard production cigars that are in our daily rotation that we really, really love. So I very much agree. And it just validates, I think, what I certainly feel that some of the best stuff out of Cuba is in their standard production portfolio.
And I'm very happy that this was the first Trinidad we did on the pod, in that I think this is the perfect accessible representation of what Trinidad is and can be as a brand for a cigar smoker. You can get a $5 if you find a couple of these, get a quarter box from Friends of Habanos or something. They're really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
Well
said.
And the one thing I wanted to ask you, Puba, as a not a critic of age per se on the cigars, but for only being 2 years old, how do you feel that it's performing with such little age?
I think it performs great. I think Trinidad's at a little bit of a higher standard out, like their fermentation process. I think they take a little bit more time with these. The tobacco is definitely premium. So I think it would benefit with age, of course.
Yeah.
Like any cigar, but this is very for something that doesn't have a ton of age on it. I think it's a very pleasurable cigar. At 2 years old. Very good. Yeah. It's one of those cigars you can pick up right now and smoke it today. I think, and you'll be very, very happy. And tomorrow you may even be happier.
There's an interesting correlation with this argument of regional and standard production, aged and young. There are, we know, a handful of young Cubans that smoke beautifully, right?
Yeah.
And we know what they are. We've talked about it many times. So I kind of like the way that relationship is working between a younger Cuban and a standard production Cuban. You can pursue those cigars and smoke them.
Yeah, and some of the bigger, like I've mentioned before, my personal point of view is that some cigars that are larger ring gauges, particularly the P2, stands out, and also the up and two, and some other larger ring gauge cigars. Lucy's, I wouldn't recommend smoking Lusitanius young, but then it also depends on the ratio of the tobacco. 898s don't smoke particularly well young at all.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting,
but with age they smoke really well. But that's a size similar to this that we're smoking. Yeah. So it's a Lonsdale, but it's similar somewhat to a Corona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This happens to smoke very well young, where I feel like an 898, it delivers some power, and this doesn't deliver nearly as much power as an 898. But that cigar needs to lay down a little while. A P2 actually can deliver some power. Needs to lay down a little bit. So I do think it has to do with the ratio of Ligero and in the cigar, and just what that specific ratio is.
Great point.
So some of these cigars need to age more. Some of them don't. I think right now this is one of a type of box that I think any of us could keep in our humidor and smoke some now, and then smoke half the box.
Yeah.
And set half the box aside,
Agreed.
for another day, for a later day.
Yeah. That's awesome advice.
All right, boys, you ready to do the formal lizard rating on the Trinidad Coloniales? Grinder, you're up tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I could knock it for like the touch-ups I'm doing, but I'm not even going to do that. The fact that I'm here after 6 weeks missing you guys with this fantastic cigar. I gave the Scotch a 10, coming off the life-changing moment. On it, tongue in cheek, I say life kind of sucks, but it doesn't. This is the happiest I've ever
It's
been in
just
my
different.
life, and because of that, it just caught me at the most opportune time. The flavor, the size of the cigar, this is right in my wheelhouse. This is a 10.
All right. Wow.
This is a fucking 10.
All right.
Wow.
I'm so happy.
Impressive.
I'm
I mean,
happy.
this is great. This is so sublime.
Awesome.
Love it.
The smoke output, the cedar, the richness of the cigar, the fact that I can retrohale, which I love to do, basically every puff, every
Yeah.
draw, it's fantastic.
Awesome. 10 from Grinder. Puba.
Oh, it's a 9 for me. I've expressed why.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with him. It's a 9 all day for me. I am blown away by this cigar. Senator.
All right, I'll be the first outlier. I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. Pagoda.
Listen, I think Grinder anchored it very high. I've been debating between 8 and 9. It's definitely an 8 for me. Yeah, but I really enjoyed it.
I'm at a 9.
Okay.
Composite Lizard score 8.8.
Fantastic.
All right. Very nice.
Very strong.
recommend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a departure for me. I was surprised because I hadn't really had this. Maybe I had one before, but that was gifted, came as a bodyguard or something in an order. But I was very surprised by this because it doesn't fit my usual kind of flavor profile. But I really enjoyed it,
And
which is why I gave it a 9.
look where he's at.
Yeah.
Look how
Down
far
in the
down
nub.
he is.
We're all down.
Yeah.
We're
But
all
for-
Yeah, I'm finished.
Yeah. For Puba though, looking at
Well,
that.
Before me, this is news.
I really didn't experience many rough edges down the stretch
No.
with this cigar at all.
Yeah.
Because Ciclo 2, I did.
Yeah, sure.
Just saying.
So
Got a little bit rough.
I just want to quickly share why I gave this an 8, and that's still a recommend. Like any
Yes.
cigar that I would rate 8, 9, or 10, I will absolutely smoke again.
No doubt.
I would never recommend against. The things that knocked it out of a 9 or 10 for me, I frequently had to touch up this cigar, and it's not just this stick because I've smoked a number of these Coloniales, and I've actually had a similar experience. So from that, I had to ding. And the last thing for me, this is harder to put into words. Having had a number of these cigars, it's never cracked my actual daily rotation. And it's something about this cigar. It's not a flaw of this cigar. It's just what my palate craves. There's a lot going on in this cigar. It's very complex, which is a testament to the cigar. But there's not enough of something that puts me over the edge where when I wake up in the morning, I say, man, today I can't wait to have that exact cigar. And those that I do say that for, the cigars that I know for me are a 9 or a 10 that I just crave after a long day. Like that time, you have to have a D4 or you're dying to have a RAS or a P2, whatever the case may be. It's never quite made it there for me. It's still a cigar that I would want in my humidor, that I would pick up for certain occasions that I know I will enjoy, but it just doesn't come together enough for my palate to crave all the time or to crack my rotation.
Yeah. Small retort on my part. I've yet to touch this up. I'm down to where it's burning my finger. And I do earmark this for myself. I think about this when I'm out and about, and let me grab that cigar and have it.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
I think with cigars, sometimes you gotta, there's psychology to it. There's a connection to the brand, to the taste. I don't have a huge connection to Trinidad
Yeah, it's fair.
either. And whether this would do all what you're saying, whether it would work that hard for me in terms of daily rotation, I don't know. I think I'd have to smoke more of them and just see how I gravitate towards it. But that connection, there are certain cigars like that just where you go, wow, did this make me go like, wow? I gave it a 9 because I really enjoyed it. and I feel like it's better than like a Mag 46, which I think I give an 8 or something, right? Definitely. But like, I don't. You got to connect with these things. I think that there's a psychology to it. Like,
Sure.
we know the brands we're connected to Partagas, we're connected. So I think maybe over time, I could see myself building better connection.
Or like a moment, like, you're connecting to a brand. Yeah, I indexed this a little high. I didn't ding it for the burn, because I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for everything, and I'm very happy, and I have high ratings, and I'm in a good mood, and this moment is making me just feel the vibe.
I'm curious, Gizmo. So you gave this a 9.
I did.
How would you compare this to one of your beloved cigars, which is the Mag 46?
So to me, I guess the way because it's funny you asked, because he said Mag 46.
That's what made
Puba
me
did.
think of it.
Me too. And I was thinking about, without even planning to bring it up, where I would slot this in. The Mag 46 to me, I think it has so much flavor, and I love it so very much that it's not one or the other. Like, I could smoke these in a sequence of some sort on any given day. However, the Mag 46 I go to so often because, maybe to Puba's point, maybe I just have a connection with that cigar, or the memory, or something about that cigar. I'm just so attached to what it is.
Well, that's the beauty of what we do. This
And
hobby.
it is.
And I love how Puba framed it, because you build a connection to certain brands and their experiences, and there's a day where it's beautiful out and you're having a great time and you're relaxed and you identify, and it clicks with you over
Absolutely.
and over and over.
Now,
It's fantastic.
To go back to it, though, to your point, I'm wondering, as I'm thinking about this, certainly if I see a box of Coloniales pop up tomorrow, I'm going to grab it. No question.
But will you buy 5 of them? Like, I know you have 5 boxes of Mag 46. in
The
your
answer
tower.
Or more.
The answer today is no, I'd be satisfied with one box, but I've only smoked one of these cigars.
Right.
Right.
So if this ended up really satisfying me over a certain period of time, I will stock up. I will load up on these, because it really was satisfying and very worthy of a 9 for me.
The
Yeah.
reason I asked that question is because I gave the Mag 46 also an 8.
Yes, you did.
And these are very different cigars. So I gave them an 8 for very different reasons. But I will absolutely, like, the Mag 46 is part of my rotation. I do have a Mag 46 probably once a week, which cracks a good, decent place in the rotation.
Same here.
Where the Coloniales, I know myself having had these before, it would probably be once every 2 weeks, once every month. And so that's where, like, if I was giving decimals, I actually, believe it or not, for my palate, I know Puba said that he likes this probably better than the Mag 46, but for me, I like the Mag 46 better than I do this cigar. Just the flavor profile of that appeals to me a little bit more. And I say taking the brand out of this because I have nothing against Trinidad. The Fundadores, I have a couple boxes of Fundies.
Yeah.
I crave that cigar
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
I wake up
Oh, yeah.
sometimes and say, I can't wait to get to the end of the day to light up a Fundy. Or on a Sunday afternoon,
No
I
question.
know I want to light that Fundy up and watch football or
No
something.
question. No question.
So that's where,
But-
like, a Fundy cracks 9, 10 for me.
But the
where this
question I
is
have
7,
about
8.
the Fundy, let's put a flavor aside. That is such a,
Exclusive.
it's exquisite. It's refined. It's a special cigar.
Very. Where the Coloniales, for me, like, I consider it the little brother of the Fundy. It's more accessible. It's less expensive.
Absolutely.
That cigar I have once a week. I have this cigar once a week.
But I say this as someone who I shit on exclusive cigars all the time. Like, I'm not buying cigars
Of
because
course,
of that.
of
Like,
course.
I just think that the Fundy lives up to the hype.
Totally.
Where there are plenty of other sticks in that category of
Mm-hmm.
hard to get, a little pricey, that I don't feel the same way about. So I'm trying to approach that very objectively.
Yeah.
And I think the summation of this discussion in and of itself, we're talking about a Corona, a cigar
It's
that,
ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy. Like,
It's ridiculous.
Like, just think about that part of it. I don't think any of us have waxed about a cigar, certainly of this size or this price, to this degree. I think it's a really good testament to, in a variety of, in this room right now, 6 very different palates. It really stood up.
Yeah, not
really
to
delivered.
overanalyze it. I agree. But like, if Trinidad had like a Robusto that was really great, and you smoked that all the time, and then you had this, and there's like a whole thing that you get married up to Upman and Partagas, and you get married up to these flavors, and you're smoking the different, and they're all kind of cousins. you kind of, you're like, well, I'll have a Mag 46 which has little bits and parts of some of those dessert flavors that you crave, but it packs this nice punch, and it becomes more familiar. I just think for me, like Trinidad is not something. It's not. I need to familiarize myself and connect more with the brand to get it to where Senator's talking about.
It's very
for
fair.
me.
And
I
That's
think
all.
this cigar.
I just think it's just you need to. If I smoke more of them, this particular cigar on this particular night with this particular Scotch was a really good experience, and that's why I gave it a 9. But I can see how I could have given it an 8 on another night.
Sure.
Still,
But I
Which is
think
still a
this
great
still
score.
an elite
Yeah.
score.
Yeah.
8 and
Great
above
score.
is an elite score.
That's what's beautiful. Like we're like the beauty of
splitting
this
hairs.
conversation. We're splitting hairs,
We
which is
are.
actually like really instructive
Yeah.
and really helpful. But the fact that every single one of us gave it between 8 and a 10,
Yeah.
go out and try these. There's
You
no
gotta
doubt.
get 'em.
Yeah.
No
You got to get them. The listener, if you're able to grab some of these, find them and get them. And, email us, tell us what you think. All right, boys, an 8.8 on the Trinidad Coloniales tonight. And perfect. We'll see you next week.
Keep smoking.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.